What is up, gamers? Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a League of Legends streamer now indefinitely suspended by Twitch for some very questionable circumstances. They have now made a new rule around names which reference sexual things. A lot of different things they are now banning on the website, including a figure who has actually had the name known as Doaenel on Twitch for a long time. Doaenel, which by the way, he claims Twitch has now confused with being too close to Doaenel, and thus why he has now been banned by Twitch.
He actually took to Twitter and said this can't be real, and he actually showed what Twitch sent him, and they basically said that he was banned due to an inappropriate username in his profile. Doaenel actually goes on to further explain why he has this profile name. He says, "Twitch just indefinitely banned me because they think my name is Doaenel. I talked about this multiple times on stream. My name has absolutely nothing to do with anal, and I've had this name since I was 16. Below is the origin. This is ridiculous." And you know, it's kind of one of those games when you were a kid where you'd figure out like what your stripper name would be or something like that, where you just make up. It doesn't have any real meaning, and I honestly don't believe that he was trying to be malicious in his profile name.
Yeah, and apparently has been around for quite some time, and I will say, this is a controversial figure who has certainly run into maybe some bad moments in his past, but still, with Twitch's new ruling, this maybe would make sense as to why he was one of the first to be struck down. But obviously, if you are a frequent viewer of his and you know his name is Doaenel, and he's not trying to make a sexual reference to Doaenel, you can probably understand why he is very upset by this. And he actually had a crazy theory as to why this might be. I'm not saying this is true or not, but we might dive into this one at a later date. He said, "I started tweeting about Chinese wind trading and boosting Discord servers that are running the region, and I demand Riot responds and fixes it. 2 days later, my Twitch account gets indefinitely banned for a name I've had since I've started streaming. How deep does this really go?" And I think he's trying to attest to something he actually did call out a few days prior, and now he's not only calling out Riot Games, maybe Tencent, maybe Twitch, and how far up those connections really go, which we're not going to dive into right now. We're just going to focus on the frustrations and responses by a lot of people out there. You have a Twitch streamer who, if you take away all of his former controversies, he's had this name since he started streaming, and now out of nowhere, he has been issued an indefinite ban for a username that he's always had. It does seem a bit odd.
Well, I think it's also interesting. Again, I bring up the idea of warnings or telling someone, hey, like, you'll be banned in 30 days if you don't change it.
Or give a chance to change the name.
Right. Like, you could be like, we're going to ban you in 30 days if you continue using this name or whatever it is, but at least give people a chance to change it so that way, I mean, this could have been his career, and if that's the case, this is what his income is. Now he's just completely shut off. At least give him a chance to change, because he seems like someone who would actually try and work with them to change it.
Yeah, and this comes off the rip over the past year or two. We've had Twitch update a lot of rules. I'm not saying that people should have names that mention drugs or mention some sexual things or anything of that nature, so I do like the step forward, but you have to make sure you're making these steps in the right ways and giving people warnings, giving them the chance to actually change their names as well, and maybe correct something that they didn't even know was an issue until all of a sudden they're slapped with a ban.
I think it's also kind of weird that they will go so far to ban someone for a name, even though he hasn't done anything actually wrong. It's for the profile name, right? But then you also have people like the ear licking one, in case you haven't seen that clip. We're not going to show it, but how can someone do that, which is like ASMR ear licking type stuff? That's very sexual content.
It's definitely sexual and in like the arousal category.
Right? So how is that
So how are you not allowed to...
Not as bad as profile name that doesn't actually say Doaenel, it says Doaenel.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, like how are you allowing sexual content whilst not allowing just like sexual names that maybe aren't doing sexual content? I think I understand where you're coming from, and it's obviously a very widespread issue. We'll keep you all posted on the Doaenel story because I think it is progressing even as we record. He has now responded. There's also some other theories out there, and we'll see his future on the Twitch platform. So what do you guys think about the Twitch streamer?
And just to make it clear, Twitch did actually change their requirements in regards to sexual things, where you can no longer have a sexual username or anything of that nature. So it'll be interesting to see if they change that again, if they do end up including alcohol, drugs, marijuana, because right now you can still have that in your profile name.
He should have just been 420 anal do, and then
Anal do.
we thought you meant marijuana anal doing. Like that, maybe I would understand.
Will be really interesting to see if there's any updates or if anything gets fixed, if he gets unbanned. But without further ado, we have one more question for y'all.
What do you think?
What do you think?
Akaba.